Thank you, friend. Shabbat Shalom. As Willie Nelson sang, on the road again, going places that I've never been, seeing things that I may never see again. As I mentioned last week, I'm on the road and getting ready to do a very special wedding. Well, I'm kind of on the road. I mean, I am in my office, but I'm packing and I'm getting ready to go on the road. All weddings are special, but this one is especially special to me. And it so ties in with this week's Parsha, kedushim, holiness. We are holy because God is holy. Wow, what a concept. This Parsha is usually read in conjunction with the last Parsha after the death. And as I said last time, it ties the two to a vein that is different than what this Parsha begs of, but on its own, it's quite amazing. If there were only one section of the Torah that you ever need to read, and nothing else of it even existed, this is that Parsha, my friends. It contains the essential rules on how to live life. Forget everything else. Read this and follow these. Scholars have dubbed this Parsha the Holiness Code. There's an amazing merging of different types of commandments here. The 10 Commandments meander throughout this section. The rules for helping the poor, the orphans, and the widows are given. And we understand then the widowed Ruth, a newly arrived alien out in Boaz's fields to get food. We are instructed to care for the elderly, the infirm, women, strangers, all woven like a tapestry that allows us to see the importance of each of these things to how we live life, how we treat nature, and our fellow humans. And I think of that great Bob Thiel song recorded by Louis Armstrong. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see 'em bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Friends, this is the section of all that truly moves away from ritual law and begins the rule of moral and ethical law. We are told that we must not put things in the way of the blind or vilify the deaf. An interesting combination. Both instances have sensory impairment of the victim, but while verbally abusing a deaf man may humiliate him, unhearing, he may never know. Whereas placing a stumbling block in the way of a blind man will cause him to be immediately aware of it. And while there is that huge distinction, there is an underlying similarity. While we may think we have nothing to fear from either of these groups, who cannot know who is wronging them, God knows. And so we should fear the consequences of our actions. We need to always be aware of our actions. It goes back to that concept of covenant. Think of Jacob's deception of his blind father Isaac and the karma created from that deception. Friends, these are not just literal, but they are figurative examples of moral turpitudes. Isn't placing a bottle of whiskey in front of a recovering alcoholic the same as putting a stumbling block before the blind? We are also reminded again and again not to wrong a sojourner. We were sojourners in Egypt. We have to realize the Torah talks to us on all levels. The physical, earthly story of slavery, and at the same time the spiritual and metaphysical world of our enslavement to ourselves and our fears. As above, so below. There is always a connection, friends. Always. And this Parsha is your ticket. Roll up. Roll up for the mystery tour. Roll up. We've got everything you need. Roll up. Satisfaction guaranteed. The magical mystery tour is hoping to take you away. And possibly one of the most oft-quoted and famous parts of the Torah comes from this Parsha in Leviticus 19:18. And you shall love your neighbor as yourself. We've all heard that, friends. And friends, we are commanded to love all human beings, not just our own people. And this is extraordinary. As Hal David and Burt Bacharach wrote, what the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Yes, what a wonderful world that would be. The colors of a rainbow so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands saying, "How do you do?" They're really saying, "I love you." While Leviticus can be seen as a book of distinctions, there are definite lines drawn between priest and layperson, pure and impure, holy and secular. But there is no distinction in who you are to love. You are to love all humanity. All. And friends, we are reminded, my Sabbath you shall keep, and my sanctuary you shall fear. Sacred time, sacred space. Both must be kept. And in our ever busy lives, friends, create time and space for yourselves. You're coming here and listening or watching is you're granting yourself sacred time in your own sacred space. You know, friends, I travel to great places in this world. You know, sometimes more than other times I travel, and many of which are considered holy places. And the earth is filled with many holy places and holy events. And a number of years ago, I traveled to one of those oft dreamt of holy places, and I was fortunate enough to be with 3 of the 4 most important people in my life. And I have a picture of it which hangs in my kitchen and which I look at daily. And this Parsha reminded me that we are holy because God is holy. And like Dorothy in Oz, who realized she carried home with her, I carry that holy place and those people in my heart because we carry holiness with us wherever we go. So remember, wherever you are is a holy place, and whatever you do becomes a holy event. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll never know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. And friends, while I'm here for a wonderful occasion of holiness, this wedding, there is one other thing that I must mention. We are coming up on Yom HaShoah. Holocaust Remembrance Day is on Monday, April 28th, and in its honor, we light candles, sing the El Mole, and recite the Mourner's Kaddish. It is Israel's day of commemoration for the 6 million who were exterminated in the Holocaust, part of the victims of a greater genocide that encompassed the 6 million Jews, 2 million Gypsies, countless homosexuals, and millions of others. Genocide is not new. Since the 4th century, we've kept statistics on racial killing, beginning in China when 200,000 were killed for racial differences. And we've been doing it ever since. The first modern genocide was the Armenian genocide in Turkey in 1915. Next to the Holocaust, it is history's most studied case of genocide. And the word genocide was coined to describe those events. It is our time to reaffirm our faith. And faith is a confidence of trust. We have to demonstrate our confidence and trust in God and in who we are. I think of the words of Abraham Joshua Heschel, who wrote about how thought becomes faith and how faith creates responses in the believer. And he pointed out that to us, God is either of no importance or of supreme importance. And so we must work together to make God of supreme importance again. And remember, speech has power. Words do not fade. What starts out as a sound ends in a deed. It's time that we use our words to create deeds. It's time we put a conscious effort forward to end senseless slaughter. Remember, friends, we are holy because God is holy. Return to holiness. And congratulations, Bob. I understand your surgery went well, and we wish you a speedy recovery. When we are loved, we prosper and we thrive. Friends, we vow never to forget. We vow never to turn away from those in need. We vow never to accept the evil and horror of genocide perpetrated upon anyone. We conclude in faith. We conclude in hope. Peace and holiness be with you, my friends. Shabbat Shalom. And thank you for joining me. Have a great day.